March 15th, 2018. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 149 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Dr. Mike, I want to apologize.
Yes.
Now, on the last episode,
Okay.
I was trying to make the point that maybe you don't have like all the new fancy gadgets and electronics.
Which
and,
I don't.
You know, that, and so you may not. And the phrase that I was trying to come up with was technologically challenged.
Okay.
But what came out of my mouth was technically clueless. All right. So
I didn't even catch that. But yeah, there's some difference there, Mark.
there is a difference there. And I'm not saying I was wrong, but that's not what I meant to say.
Okay.
Okay. What I meant to say was technologically
Really
challenged.
All right.
And so I want to apologize. When
Yeah,
I was,
in today's PC world, you know, you need to apologize to me. My feelings were hurt.
I was going to say, I can tell.
I might never play craps again. That's how bad
Well, you just took a turn there for the dark side.
the dark side of me. No, that's how technically challenged I am. I didn't even catch that you said that.
No, now see, you combined it.
I
You
know.
said-
Well, that's what I mean, technically, because
Okay.
I technically couldn't hear.
All right. Well, you are back from Horseshoe Southern Indiana. It just like less than a week before you were to leave, they reopened. I think the Sunday before.
The Sunday
you,
before.
left.
We got there Thursday night. They opened the Sunday before that.
That's great. So tell us about your trip.
Well, first, I guess I should tell about the hotel, the conditions.
Oh, yeah. What was it like? It was,
Well, I'll tell you what, there was a lot of mud.
yeah.
They were still getting mud out of the parking structure. And it's like a 4 or 5 story parking structure. The first 2 floors were full of mud.
Yeah.
Where the river had actually gone to the second level.
Yeah.
And then, you know, after it receded, it just left all this mud. When we were pulling into the casino, into the hotel part, there's like a little ditch and there's still water in there. And there was a couch floating along. You know? So that's how bad it was. And a lot of the houses heading up to the casino that are along the river there had big piles of junk, you know, out in the yard, like for pickup, stuff that just got ruined that they had to throw out, which was sad to see.
Sure.
Because they're not the nicest houses.
So it's not the
It's not a high-end area. It's people get really hurt.
Yeah, not the kind of houses that could withstand that kind of
Right.
flood,
Well,
yeah.
and that kind of loss because, you know, they lose their furniture and stuff. It's not like they probably have the money to go out and just buy new stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's really sad.
Yeah.
But the casino itself was okay. It's a boat.
Sure.
So it was okay. Where the boat meets the structure that you walk through to get to the hotel, that was pretty badly damaged.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, because the boat lifted up and
and water all went into that. That's on dry land.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
okay.
it connects the boat to the hotel and where the restaurants are and all that.
Okay.
And there was a lot of damage there. A lot of the walls were tore up. So they were drying things out. They had it opened. And the first day that I was there, the escalators did not work. And so you had to walk down the stairs. And I'll tell you, I am way out of shape. I mean, coming back up those stairs after you've been, you know, gambling till 2:30 a.m., it's rough.
It is.
I needed those escalators. And it was a small, narrow stairway. And so there was a guard at the top, and he would hold the people up while you walked up. And then when you got up there, he would let people go down. It wasn't wide
I see what
enough
you're
for
saying.
people
Okay.
to, you know.
Okay, I got you.
And it was still wet. The carpet was still wet. So it was like they didn't want people falling or anything, but you needed to have that. To get from the hotel to the casino, you had to go down that.
What, did they have a lot of fans going or something?
They had a ton of fans going, and they'd cut walls. And, you know, there were construction guys there the whole time still working, cleaning. But the casino was fine.
Okay.
I mean, you know, it's a boat, so I guess it withstood all the water raising up. It's funny because I was talking with one of the listeners I met. When you go in the casino, sometimes you enter on deck 2. Sometimes you enter on deck 3, depending on how the river's up or down. So the first day, it was deck 2. And then it rained a little bit. It snowed, actually, and then rained. And I guess the river rose a little bit. And so the next day it was deck 3. Well, the craps tables are on deck 3. So the first day I go in, I got to go up one level, I take the escalator up, I play craps, right? So the second day I enter on deck 3, not even looking that I'm on deck 3, because it's just like you just walk in, right?
Yeah,
And I'm like, I walk in and I go up one level and I'm on deck 4. And I'm like, look, where are the craps tables? This doesn't look the same. And then I realized, and then one of the listeners pointed out to me that, oh yeah, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 2, depends on the river.
Boy, that was rough. You did get a lot of exercise, didn't you?
I got a lot of that going up and down the stairs and escalators.
Now, how was the hotel itself? Did you see damage there?
Yeah, yeah, there was quite a bit. The first level where you enter the valet was all tore up. As a matter of fact, the first 2 days we were there, it was closed. The third day it actually opened, so we could valet the car again, but there was tons of construction. I mean, it was not pleasant for those valet guys, and it was very cold, and the windows were out, and it was not a good situation.
Yeah.
And the pool was closed because it's on that level too, and the guy said basically it's just full of mud, and it's going to be a long time till the pool gets open.
Yeah.
But the rest of the hotel was fine, upstairs, we were on floor 7. It's a nice hotel, really. They've got really nice suites. We had 2 suites that adjoined. So, we opened the door and the kids had their own one and we had one. Yeah. So that was very nice.
Good.
So the first night we got there, Thursday night, we checked in. Oh, it was like 5:30 or 6, and we ate. And then I said, I'm going to go down to the casino. So I went down and immediately started playing craps on deck 3. Okay. And I'm sitting there, and there's this guy comes up and he buys in next to me, and he's talking to me, and pretty soon we're chatting about craps. Real nice guy, very nice.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, craps player. We kind of gambled pretty much the same way. We're talking, and finally he looks at me and he says, "Now, where are you from?" Because I had asked him, and he's actually from somewhere in Kentucky. And I said, "San Diego." And he looked at me and he said, "I think I owe you a well drink." And I was laughing. Anyway, it was Jeff, one of our listeners, who said he was going to be there, but he said he wasn't going to get there till midnight. That's what he had told you.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
And well, what it was is he was supposed to work.
Right. And his email, he said he was going to work. He wouldn't be there till midnight. He wouldn't be there till midnight because he had a job at 9:30. Yeah.
He is a driver, and he had a job, but he decided he really wanted to get there earlier just in case I didn't make it up that late.
Okay.
Which, is silly because, of course, I'm going to be up. But he came earlier, not expecting to find me yet. So it just happened that we're right next. I mean, we were next to each other playing for a good hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's like, "I think I owe you a well drink."
I'm like, I sent you his picture.
I know, but
so that you know what he looked like.
But you said midnight, so I mean,
all right, you
at
just
8
shut
o'clock,
off. Your brain just shut off.
At 8 o'clock, I was like not thinking it. Around midnight, I would have looked at my phone and thought, "Oh, where is that guy?"
Okay.
But anyway, super nice guy. He has an interesting thing. You're gonna like this.
Okay.
So on the come out, he bets all the hard ways.
Okay. Which I tell you should do.
Yeah, right. He has them working
if you're
on the come out.
All right, yeah.
It's $15.
15.
He puts 15.
Okay.
He puts $2 on the hard 8.
Okay.
$2 on the hard 6.
Yeah.
$2 on the hard 4. So that's 6.
Right.
Then he has $9 on the hard 10.
Okay.
And it'll be like 6 for him, 3 for the dealers.
All right. Nice. Okay.
So if a 7 comes on the come out, he just replaces it $15 and replaces it. If a hard way hits, he parlays it all to the 10.
Okay.
He takes I think he took like $5 back for himself and a couple dollars for the dealers, and then put all the rest of it back on hard 10.
Okay.
So if a 6 hits, all goes to hard 10. Then if an 8 hits, all goes to hard 10.
Okay.
And his thing is he wants them all to hit and then the 10 to be the last one.
Yeah.
And he's built it up and he hits that hard 10. For whatever reason, Jeff likes the hard 10.
The hard 10, all right.
I think it worked out a couple of times.
The hard 10 came up after another one?
After another one, yeah.
Oh, okay,
and
good.
I think once maybe 2 of them came up and then the hard 10, so he had quite a bit on it.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, it's interesting. It was fun. I thought, it's kind of fun. He's piling it all on one.
Yeah, just hoping to catch
and some people say, oh, spread it out on all of them.
Right.
Some people collect it. And, I just parlay the one that hits. Yeah. But I was thinking that'd be kind of fun. Whatever, if a 4 hits, just pile it all on the 8 or something, right? And hope for that hard 8. But anyway, so that was Jeff's deal.
Okay.
And it was good. And I guess he goes there frequently enough that the dealers knew him.
Oh, good.
The dealers knew him, yeah. So that's how the weekend started, and it was great.
Good.
So I went to bed Thursday night, and it was still down a little bit, but it was not bad, and it was decent. Friday, got up Friday morning, and I thought, well, we don't have to be anywhere till about 2 in the afternoon. So we ate breakfast, and then I said, I'm going to go play. And the girls, I don't know, I can't remember.
Well, let me cut you off there. You're talking about eating breakfast. What was the smoking situation like there? Because last time you were there, the girls couldn't go with you into certain restaurants, right?
And the same this time. It was the same. It has not changed.
It was the same.
Yeah. The first night we tried to eat at the steak place. That was our intention. We wanted to have a nice steak dinner the first night. And they had given me $200 food credit.
Okay.
Plus I had a ton of points. Yeah. So we were just going to go to the steak place. No. Got to be 18 or over.
One of our listeners had said it had changed.
Yeah, well, that's not what we
unless
found.
I misremembered.
No, somebody did. Yeah, they said it changed. And I had told Lynn we were kind of happy about that because we're like, oh, good, we're going to go to that steak place because everyone talks about how good it is.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, let's have a nice steak dinner. No, we couldn't get the kids in. Oh, wow. So we ate at the buffet the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah. And the buffet actually is pretty decent.
All right.
I was pretty happy. They had you know how they'll have like an omelet thing where they make you fresh eggs or something?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They had somebody on a grill making fresh sandwiches. So you could get like a Reuben.
Oh, wow. Oh,
fresh.
That's nice.
In the morning, they were making breakfast type stuff.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Like waffles, pancakes, freshly cooked, not, you had to wait a little bit, but the sandwiches were great. He made me this huge Reuben. I mean, it was, and I thought the buffet was actually very decent.
Well, that's
and
good.
Not that expensive.
As 7 stars, did you get 2 free buffets?
No, we did not get 2 free buffets. We got 4.
Oh, nice.
4
So the whole
buffets.
family was able to eat for free.
All 4 of us
through
were
7 stars.
Free. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's great. Good.
I had to pay for my mother-in-law a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a great deal,
good.
to get 4 free.
Yeah, that's great.
Now it opens at 11, I think, and you can only get the 4 free until like 4 in the afternoon or something.
Oh, okay.
So
I got you.
Prime time at night, they don't give you 4 free.
Oh, okay. But still.
The lady said, well, just come like right before 4.
Yeah.
And have an early
switch
dinner.
It over. Oh, good. Yeah. All right. So anyway, back to, you're talking about Friday.
So I got up Friday morning, went down to let me reverse a little bit.
Okay.
So when Jeff was there on Thursday night, there was a situation where actually it was my chips. The shooter was on the other side of the table from me rolling. Rolled the dice, and I usually separate my chips pretty good, but in this case, for whatever reason, I had my odds kind of close to my line bet.
Right, which sometimes a dealer will move that.
Right.
So the die does not get like caught between the 2 stacks.
Right, exactly, and land weird or something.
Okay, but yours were a little
Mine
too close.
Mine were a little too close.
All right.
And I just wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the die landed. And the stick person immediately said 7 out. And I said, no, wait. Because honestly, it was perfectly between my 2 chips. And if you had moved my line bet, it's a 7 out.
Okay.
But if you move my odds bet,
which should have been further away to begin with, is your argument.
Further away, but they were too close. Then it was not a 7 out. It was like an 8. Or no, excuse me, it was like a 6. Because I had $100 hard 8.
Okay.
So the box person was a lady named Angie. She was excellent. Good. By the way. I mean, friendly, nice, very good. So Angie gets up and she looks at it from her box position. Yeah. Then she actually leaves her box positions and comes around the side of the table, stares at it from the side and says, it could go either way. She said, it's almost directly in between them. And she said, so if everyone's okay, no roll.
Oh, okay.
That was her thing.
Yeah.
That way the casino's not getting ripped off.
Right.
We're not getting ripped off. It's just no roll.
Yeah.
Everyone's, of course,
Sure.
Next roll, hard 8.
Nice.
So, I benefited $900 from her call. And
wow.
And even before that happened, I looked at her and said, you are 100% correct. That's perfect customer service.
Yes.
She made everyone happy. And then they were all happy when, because I had some for the dealers on there
on
too.
the hard way. Good.
Yeah. So when they got the hard 8, they were pretty happy.
Good.
But anyway, that was Angie. If anyone from Southern Indiana casinos listening, she is a valued employee.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, she's a great employee. But the next morning I got up, I went down, it was early, before 9 o'clock, I think. They only had 1 table open. But anyway, I was playing. There was a guy there who was rolling. He was obviously a local. Everyone knew him. He knew all the dealers. Anyway, he got the dice and proceeded to make 5 numbers to the fire.
5-point fire.
5-point fire.
Nice.
All he needed was an 8.
Yeah.
Okay. I had $25 on the fire, which is the max.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, boy. You don't see many places like that. Usually 10 is like the max. So you had 25 on there. Oh, my gosh.
And the shooter, he had 25. And there were a couple people with $10.
Okay.
Anyway, he made 5 to the fire. He just needed an 8.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking, come on, an 8.
Right.
That's when I texted you and I texted my wife and I said, all we need is an 8.
Yeah.
So he picks up the dice. He's coming out. He rolls them. 8.
Wow.
It's like a 5-3.
And to get on that 6th number.
And I was like, oh my God, we're on the 6th number. This is $25,000.
Yeah.
And he needs an 8. It's not like a 4 or a 10, or something. Or when you're waiting for the all tall, small, and you need a 2.
Right.
Sure, it might come, but, probably won't.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's an 8. So we're all excited as hell. The table is pretty full. It was the only table open. Mm-hmm. Up walks this guy.
Yeah.
He kind of pushes his way in too. Yeah. It's not like he was easily, in. Kind of crammed in between two people, throws $500 down on the table.
Change only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it stops the game. They, they count out the 5. They give him his 500. It actually went pretty fast.
Okay,
it wasn't slow because, they gave him, but they got to give him 400 in green. Then they put 100 in red out. They take 10 of them back and give him 10 ones.
Yeah.
And, the whole deal. And the pit looks at, give him the 5. So then the shooter, in disgust, sitting there, and he was kind of close to the shooter too. It was on his side. I was on the other side of the table. He picks up the dice, rolls 7 out. We were so mad. And I told this story to somebody today, and they said, "Oh, that casino shill." They sent him over.
And I know there are people who believe that.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing with you. I'm sure you were mad, and I would have been mad too.
Yeah.
Even though I know it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But the problem is people are superstitious, and when it does happen, it's like, why did you do that? If you hadn't done that, it would have been different, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what you're thinking. If you're buying in for 500, you've played craps before.
Yeah.
It's not like
that's true. It's not somebody
guy throwing
doesn't know that
$40
he shouldn't
down
buy in the middle of a roll, right?
So he probably knew he shouldn't be doing that, or he wasn't thinking, I don't know, whatever. It was 7 out.
Yep.
And right at that time, it's like 10 o'clock. They paid us. Now, it still paid pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
It's over $6,000.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm up like $10,000.
Yeah.
But anyway, the next table was opening, and the shooter and I moved over to that table. Mm-hmm. But him and I moved over there, and we just kept talking about, can you believe that? I mean, we were this close to $25,000.
No, he was a cooler. They sent him over.
Yeah, cooler. We started playing. It was going actually pretty good. And then listener Brian showed up. Mm-hmm. And very nice guy. We actually ended up leaving that table both ahead for that second table.
Good.
So I was going back to the room kind of on a high note. I was up quite a bit. Brian was real nice. I invited him to go to lunch with us. That's why we had to leave. Finally, Lynn's like, the girls want lunch.
Yeah.
Before we had to leave at 2. He had already eaten, so he didn't eat lunch with us, but he met the girls and everything. We had a good time.
Good.
So then we went, we had wedding stuff to do.
Yeah.
Come back that night. And I'm playing on deck 3.
Right.
And the tables were pretty crowded. Mm-hmm. There were 4 tables. 3 of them were open. And I was talking to one of the dealers, and I said, well, did they open that 4th table? And he goes, well, probably not Friday night. A lot of times the 4th one will open when we're like a busy Saturday night, or like when the Kentucky Derby's in, that weekend or whatever. And then he said, but you can always just go upstairs to the high limit table. And I'm like, what?
Really?
Yeah. So on deck 4, back in the corner by the Diamond Lounge, which is up there, they have a high limit room. And I had kind of seen it, but you have to walk all the way to it to see there's a craps table because it's off in the corner.
Uh-huh.
I didn't actually go. I just kind of like went a little way, saw the Diamond Lounge, saw a bunch of blackjack tables.
Yeah.
And just assumed high limit.
Well, how often do you see a craps table in a high limit room? I mean, very rarely.
I've seen it maybe twice before.
Yeah.
Anyway, up there, it's a non-smoking. Now it's $25.
Okay.
They have 100 times odds.
Yeah.
So the first night, the tables were all $10. And, so I'm betting 10 with a lot of odds.
Yeah.
Up there, I got to bet 25 with a lot of odds. So you're putting a little more out there. But it's in this nice little corner, super quiet. There was like maybe 6 people playing, very nice surroundings, non-smoking. So I love that.
That's great.
Unfortunately, I didn't get up there till like after 10:30 because it only opened, that high limit one is only open on Fridays and Saturdays, opens at 8, and they told me it goes until it dies down. Nobody wants to play anymore.
Sure.
So I guess I got up there at 10:30 because I didn't know about it. But at 8 o'clock, right when it opened, The guy who shot the 5 on the fire shot 5 on the fire up there.
You blew it, Mike.
The same day.
You blew it.
The same day, Mark. Upstairs, shot 5 on the fire again.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. And I guess I got up there. He was just leaving. He had shot 5, and then 2 shooters later, somebody made a 4. It all cleared out because they had
won and they're good. They're going to go celebrate.
Their $6,000-$7,000, and they're off. So anyway, I went up there, and it did not go so well.
Oh.
So as it turned out over the course of the weekend, went all the way back to even. Lost all my
that's too bad after that
But it was fun
and
good. And I guess that was Friday. So then Saturday morning I went down and played before we had to leave for the wedding. And listener Matt was there. And it did not go well for Matt and I. The table was colder than heck.
Yeah.
I mean, he got there and I had already gone through. I was getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
And then he got there and I thought, okay, well, I'll play some more. And, we talked and very nice. And finally I went to get more money and Matt disappeared and turned out he played some blackjack. And he said he did okay. But anyway, and then we met him. He was staying at the hotel. He was on the same floor as us.
Oh, good.
So we met him up at the hotel. But anyway, a couple more things I want to mention real quick.
Yeah.
The dealers in the high limit room were William, Beverly, and Brandy. They were all excellent dealers.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I would hope so if they're on the high limit table.
They must have put, some of their sharper dealers. And the pit was named Lynn, like my wife. She was a hoot.
Yeah.
She was just talkative and chatty, and she made it very entertaining. And also her relief was a guy named Billy, and he was very good too, because he was into horse racing. We talked a lot about horse racing and stuff and craps, and they were very engaging. It wasn't a moment where we weren't talking about something. And I think at one point it was like Beverly who I made like something and she said, "Oh, I thought that was a 3-way." And one of the other dealers said something, "Oh, Beverly, you're just so into 3-ways." and it was so funny because she said something like, "It's been like 10 years." And then she hesitates. She's, "Okay, maybe 2." It was pretty funny. And anyway, I just want to say that it's this great casino.
Another good trip.
You
didn't win big like last time, but at least you had a good time.
I had a very good time. I didn't lose a huge amount or anything. And it was very, they were very friendly.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's the thing I like. They were very friendly.
That's
and
important.
that high limit room was excellent.
That's great.
It was so nice. I wish Harrah's Rincon would have that.
Well, I wish anybody would have. Mike, I don't know that I have seen a craps table in a high limit room.
Well, no, there's one in Vegas at one of the places.
Okay.
Remember, it was like, I can't remember, but I remember seeing one. But it wasn't open when we went by there.
All right. Well, welcome home.
Yep, thank you.
Yep. So I had a little adventure too this last weekend. Not nearly as interesting, but let me tell you what happened. So my wife, Sherry, went to an animal care conference because, she works at the animal shelter and it was up in Long Beach. And so I went up with her that first night and stayed over just kind of on the weekend. And that Sunday, she had some classes that she needed to go to. And she said, "Well, why don't you go to a casino close by? Is there a casino close by?"
Yeah, of course.
And I'm thinking, I'll find one. I think I'll find one.
Even if it's not close.
So I had a few hours and I thought, okay, you know what? I'd kind of like, now there isn't a full-blown casino. It's basically just card rooms.
Card rooms, right.
In the LA area. You have to go a little bit out of LA before you actually go to a real tribal casino where they have the real games.
Right.
So it was mostly just card rooms. So I decided, well, first I'm going to go to Hustler Casino because I'd never been there. I don't think you've been there either.
No, I haven't been there. We've heard of it.
Right. And I thought, maybe I can find an Omaha 8 game, which is my favorite poker game to play. And I was looking online and they said, "Oh, we specialize in, having an Omaha game."
So they always have an Omaha game.
Well, no, they don't because I got there and they didn't have one going.
Okay. That's very typical of most casinos.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I go in. I'd never been before. It was a little smaller than I thought it was going to be. About half the casino was poker tables. And then the other half were table games. Everybody's familiar with like Let It Ride and blackjack and 3-card poker. But because they're card rooms, because they're not tribal casinos, the house is not allowed to bank.
Right.
We've talked about this before. So players were banking.
Yeah. Now, were the banks large?
They were very large. This was obviously
so it's some syndicate.
Very well organized because you could go up to the table, immediately knew who the bank was. They'd have tons of chips in front of them.
Right. So it's a syndicate that's banking.
Yeah, but basically, yeah. So, I asked, "Oh, you have an Omaha game going?" He said, "Oh, no, but, we could start a list for interest." And, there was no list or anything. I said, "Well, I'm not going to put my name in now and wait."
Just give them your cell number and your name. They call you 2 days later. Yeah, we got that Omaha game. You still interested?
Because if you're not interested, it won't start.
There's only 3 of you.
So I said no, and I'm thinking, well, gosh, I'm already here. Should I play some Hold'em? And then I thought, no, I don't want to play stupid Hold'em. Right? So
that's for rookies.
So I thought, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to a different casino. So I'm going to head over to the Gardens Casino.
Okay. Is that in Garden Grove?
It's in Hawaiian Gardens.
Hawaiian Gardens.
Yeah, and you and I have been there once.
Oh,
I don't know if
okay.
you remember. We actually went there. It used to be called Hawaiian Gardens, and now it's just called the Gardens.
All right. I thought it was in Garden Grove. I don't know why.
No, Hawaiian
Which
Gardens
is not too far
separate
from.
So I am heading towards the Gardens Casino. Okay. I'm on the freeway, and I look off to the side, and there's this huge building that says Crystal Casino and Hotel.
Okay.
It's like, well, I haven't heard of that. Well, I mean, it's right off the freeway. I better go check it out. So I pull off the freeway, and I drive over to it, and I'm pulling up, and this place, it's like, oh my gosh, this is a casino? Is it abandoned?
Yeah.
Is it open? And I go around to the parking area, and the parking lot is just, there are beer bottles everywhere, and the pavement is all, torn up. And thinking, geez, what's going on? So I park, and I start walking towards the door, and I don't think I'm coming through the main entrance. I'm like on a side door.
Okay.
And the side door, there's no signage at all. It's like if you were to walk up to an abandoned department store.
Right.
And you just see the doors there, right?
Now what possesses you to keep going at
well,
this
I know
point?
this.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking, I'm here. I've got to see what's in store for me. I may not make it out alive.
You think I'm challenged?
So, the only sign, and as I get up, I'm thinking, should I go in? The only sign is, something about you have to be 21 to enter the casino. It's like, okay, so I go in, and to call this place a dump would be an insult to dumps.
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it. I opened the door, and it's just this huge open space of just carpet with nothing there.
Uh-huh.
And then I kind of go in, and it's like, okay, this is a bingo area. No bingo going on. I don't know if they have bingo. I had to walk a real long ways, and finally I got to the tables. And, like Hustler, they had table games, a lot of Asian games going on,
right.
Things banking. But it just looked like it was some abandoned building where they just set up some tables in the corner. Oh my gosh.
Mark, this sounds like something out of Deer Hunter. Okay, I would have ran. I wouldn't even have parked. I would have been like, okay, I'm not getting out here. This is the place where the guy kills you for 38 cents. You got
I know. So I was very careful, but I got out of there, got back into my car, which was still there, luckily.
Did you play it all?
Oh, no.
No, yeah.
No.
Okay. You weren't that crazy.
No. And apparently I didn't see actual poker tables, but apparently maybe I missed them. I was reading online. It's like, how much time do I watch? Really,
what did the clientele look like you were playing?
Well, I don't know. It didn't
just look like normal people?
Yeah, it looked like normal people.
Well, where were their cars parked in the parking lot?
That's a good question, mate. There might have been valet. There were cars in the parking lot.
Oh,
it's just,
it wasn't like you're the only car.
No. But, it's obvious nobody had cleaned up the parking lot.
I'm getting a little
time.
Scared.
Well,
just hearing this.
I know. I got out of there really more concerned for, is my car going to be there when I get back, right? So that was the thing.
Or is there going to be 8 guys sitting on the hood saying, hey.
Yeah. So I got back to my car, got back on the freeway, and continued on to Gardens.
The lesson here is no matter how much you want to see a new casino.
It said casino. I could see it from the freeway. And, seriously, as I'm pulling in, it's like, is this really a casino? Is there some name?
Right.
Right. It's just like casino clams.
So, Mark, it's like snowballs. They say less fat on them, but they're snowballs. Okay.
So finally, I end up at Gardens, which is a very nice casino. I'll tell you, I think you and I went there maybe 20 years ago.
It had to be a long time
Yeah, it was
ago.
unrecognizable. Just great in there.
Okay.
And I went in, a big poker room, very big poker room. Yeah. I look, and they don't have any Omaha going, but they have Big O. And for those who are not familiar, Big O is exactly like Omaha, except all the players get 5 cards. You get 5 down cards.
Right.
Otherwise, it works just like Omaha. You have to use 2 from your hand and 3 on the board.
Yeah.
So they had Big O, high, low going. They actually had no Omaha games.
What was the limits on that?
4-8.
Oh, okay. Not
with
bad.
a kill,
Not
with
bad.
a full kill.
Oh, with a full kill.
So I signed up. There were like 6 or 7 people on a waiting list, and it was perfect timing because since there were so many there, they just opened up a whole new game.
Wow.
So it just opened up right there.
That's nice.
This was a juicy game. I had been watching beforehand some of these plays. Oh my God, Mike, nobody was folding before the flop.
Really?
Nobody. Other than me.
You.
Yeah, I was the
Well, of course.
Oh my gosh, it was so, and I was only able to play there for an hour, but what a juicy game. And I was really only involved in about 2 hands. One was a kill. So it was playing 8-16.
Yeah.
I had pocket aces and something else, and I flopped an ace. So I had, a set of aces.
Right. You're looking for full house 4 of a kind.
A full house 4 of a kind. It turns out I get runner flush, nut flush. There's no possible full house in there, and no low. Yeah. And somebody went with me the whole way, so I scooped a huge pot.
Yeah, that's all you need to do is play one hand.
Yeah. And then I had to kill the next hand. The kill. So again, a kill game is where in Omaha, if you scoop a pot, which is normally a split pot game,
right?
If you scoop a pot, and in this particular game, it had to be at least $60.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, because you don't want to scoop a small. pot.
There were plenty of people who were scooping small pots and didn't have to kill because it was under $60. But if the pot you win is $60 or more, and you scoop, then the next hand is a kill, and you have to put out a kill blind. And
right. You're forced to bet.
You're forced to bet. Yes, the $8.
Yeah.
So, but not much happened, and then I had to go. But it was great. So I
that's nice.
Scratched
well, at
my
least
itch
you
for that.
found a place to play, and you played a hand, and you had good luck.
Yes, I had good luck, and
you came home virtually in one piece.
Yes, physically I was okay, and I did.
You weren't violated at any point or anything.
That's right. I think the other hand I was involved in, I think it was a similar thing where I flopped trip aces again. But then by the river, there were like 4 cards to a straight out there. And, this is Big O, right? People have so many cards. And a guy who hadn't been betting suddenly bets out. So I knew he had the straight. And had
it's funny when bad players will stick out with the trips or something and that. Yeah. You've got 5 cards and there's so many players. I mean, somebody made that straight. Somebody made that full house. Somebody made that flush.
Especially in a game like Omaha. And one thing that you have to fight as a new poker player is that sense of entitlement when you start with a great hand,
right?
And it just
you feel like you should win this hand,
and so you make these angry calls at the end, and then you're beat, right?
You're beat. And you know you're beat. That's the thing is you know you're beat, and you're still making the call because you had such a good starting hand, and you can't get through your head that. Yeah, it was good, but it sucks now.
Yep.
Right.
I think that's a leak in a lot of people's games.
Yeah,
so,
it is a big leak in a lot of people's games. We should actually, at some episode in the future, talk about some of the things like that people
that's good. Yeah,
are hard to get through your head.
Yeah,
and we're kind of all guilty of that sometimes.
Sure, as gamblers, of course. Yeah, sometimes we get emotional about it. Yeah,
right.
Okay, one quick news item before we get to the phone calls. Locally here in town, there is a Hollywood casino that has been managed by Penn National, and it's connected to all the Hollywood casinos in the country.
Tropicana, Las Vegas,
M Resort. Well, within these last 2 weeks, Penn National has pulled out of this Hollywood casino. You and I have talked about on a previous episode, this is a casino that has been struggling. Yes. All you had to do was go out there. You could tell it was struggling.
Right.
It was a controversial casino because of where it was built.
Right. It's the people who live in that area did not want it.
It's a rural area, and it's not rural like some of these other tribal casinos where it's really off a ways. Right. This is, right going by people's homes.
There's a house across the street.
Yeah.
So pretty much across the street.
So anyway, they're pulling out, and I guess it's just going to be renamed the Jamul Casino or whatever. We'll see if they can survive. I don't have very high hopes.
Well, remember they used to have a casino up in near Julian, San Isabel.
San Isabel, yeah.
Yeah, and it did not do well. Well, number one, it was way far away from everything, and the road to get there was mountainous.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't like a little mountain, it was mountainous. In wintertime, who in their right mind would drive up there?
Right, yeah.
So that had that problem, but it also had the problem of being just not affiliated with anything and local, and they couldn't give away a lot of comps or giveaways or things. They were giving a lot of stuff away at Hollywood. I wonder if that will continue.
We will see. I don't know if that was Penn National's doing, but we've mentioned this before. A lot of the stuff they gave away is just terrible.
Junky.
It was
as
junky,
opposed to Harris Rincon, which the giveaways are actually very nice.
Yeah, right now they're giving away just some kitchen appliances and they're high quality. They're great.
Very high quality. Yeah. They're good. They're kind of pans you'd buy.
Yes.
The stuff at Hollywood was kind of stuff like, I got this free. I used it twice and it fell apart.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was free.
It's like a toy.
So, it's like a toy.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can bet on that.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's get to the the phone calls. Remember, call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Cody.
Hey guys, this is Cody from Alabama giving a Tunica trip report, and then also going to try to explain a previous caller from I believe 2 shows ago that had mentioned taking his wife to Tunica for her birthday weekend and that turning out to not be a good idea. I think what the caller is trying to explain is if you haven't ever been to Tunica, it's hard to really explain how far in the middle of nowhere that Tunica actually is. You're talking about hundreds of acres of cotton fields that you drive through, and then all of a sudden, here's a small little, 1 or 2 red light town that has 7 or 8 casinos in it. It is 35 to 40 minutes away from Memphis, which is nice, if you want to drive up after you've got done playing at the casino or you've, down in your luck or you want a lot of money, you want to go into town and spend it. But, Memphis is not just next door, it still is quite a lengthy drive. But when you actually get into Tunica, the way that the town is spread out is there are 3 casinos side by side, which is an MGM property, and then 2 Harris properties. And then you have to drive 7 or 8 miles in town to get to the other set of casinos. So, if your wife is not a hardcore gambler, she's not going to have a great time if you're there for multiple nights. My suggestion is if you're going to take your wife or your girlfriend, significant other, that you, and you're going to spend multiple nights, that you need to, agree to play, maybe at night and then take her into Memphis or take her to some of the, maybe the Mississippi River cruises or something of that nature during the day and, try to come to an agreement of some kind. She's not going to have a very enjoyable time just in the town of Tunica. As far as the gambling goes, I went with a couple of friends back, on President's Day weekend. That's the first trip I've made there since July. And one thing of note on the craps tables, the fire bet has gone away since July. It has been replaced with the all tall, all small. While we were playing the all tall, all small, did hit a couple of times, which is nice. And then, we had several good rolls. The odds are in your favor as far as, a good odds bet. I think it's 20 times odds at the MGM property and up to 100 times odds at the Harris property. So you do get a good odds bet. So the craps games are good. There's still 3 to 2 blackjack everywhere in town, except for a single deck game. Some of that's 6 to 5, but you can get 3 to 2 everywhere else. Overall, pretty good trip. Came down a little bit down after playing some 3-card poker, but otherwise, it was a good trip overall. So again, if you're going to Tunica, come to an agreement with your significant other about how much time you're going to spend gambling, unless she's a hardcore gambler.
Yeah, he got cut off there at the 3-minute mark. So I guess that explains it. Now
that explains Tunica.
Yeah.
So the question is, where do you take your wife? What gambling destination do you take your wife on your
instead
anniversary?
Of Tunica?
Yeah.
For your anniversary. That's right. Yeah.
If it's your anniversary.
Was it her birthday? It was her birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
Well,
still,
birthday, anniversary, any significant event, which, could be a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
First date, whatever.
Yeah.
Where do you take them for gambling?
Yeah. Maybe just one of those Dottie's slot parlors in Las Vegas and the Nevada
I'll tell you
area.
what, seriously though, Las Vegas has so much to offer.
Oh, yes. Oh, sure.
So if you go to Las Vegas, your wife can get a massage and a manicure and, you shop at the Forum shops and, there's plenty to see and do, shows and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Sherry and I went once for a weekend and we didn't gamble till the last day.
Right.
Which
I
is
remember you
hard
saying
to believe.
hard to believe.
It's kind of embarrassed now to say it on the show. But
maybe you better edit that out.
Now, weren't you telling me, though, that your wife
Yeah.
was actually suggesting Tunica as a destination? Didn't I hear that?
Well, we were looking at places to go on vacation
Uh-huh.
with our timeshare thing that we have. They were all over the world. And
Yeah.
she's going down the list. She said, "Oh, Tunica's on here."
Nice.
We were laughing. I said, "Yeah, that might be okay for me, but I don't know how you and the kids would like Tunica."
Okay, let's hear from Steve.
Mark and Dr. Mike, how are you? Steve Thomas from Toronto, Ontario, and I met you at Vegas Vacation 4 when you were limping around, and we played at Bally's in the D and had a great time. I'll be there at Zorkfest in Vegas Vacation 6 coming up in May, but I just had a trip report. I just got back from Vegas on the President's Day weekend and just had some observations. The fire bet is definitely dead. I didn't find any around Vegas at all. $5 tables were harder to come by too, I found. But again, I chalked that up to the President's Day weekend. One interesting thing I did see at Caesar's Palace, though, I've never seen before, and I wonder if you guys have seen it. They had the field bet, And adjacent to the field bet, there was a second kind of field bet where you can make 3 separate field bets if you wanted to. You could bet on the 2, 3, and the 4, and the 4, 9, and the 10, and the 10, 11, and 12, which was interesting. But the 2, 3, and 4 paid 5 to 1. The 4, 9, and 10 paid 3 to 1. And the 10, 11, 12 paid 5 to 1, which I think is kind of interesting. Also, the fact that the 4 and the 10 were on 2 different categories. So the 2, 3, and 4, and the 4, 9, and 10. So if you bet on those 2 sections, you'd essentially get 4 at 8 to 1 if it came up. I thought that was interesting. It was called Fielder's Choice, I think. And it was at Caesar's Palace. And I just wondered if you guys had seen that before. Anyway, thanks very much, and look forward to seeing you at Zorkfest, and can't wait to play with you guys again. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Yeah, this is a brand new bet.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have not seen this.
No, in fact, I don't think the Wizard of Odds even has a page for it yet.
Oh, okay.
And so this is really hot off the presses.
Breaking news.
Yeah,
here.
that's
you can
exactly.
bet on that.
It's called Fielder's Choice. Let's talk about it a little bit. I want to make
just in time for baseball season.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. It's got kind of a baseball theme. I want to make some corrections too on some of the payouts, but let's talk about it. Yeah, it's next to the field, and it's 3 separate bets. You don't have to bet on all 3 of them. You can bet on one of them, 2 of them, all 3 of them, but it's 3 separate one-roll bets. One is called left field, and it has the 2, 3, and 4 in it.
Okay.
One roll bet. You make a bet in there. If 2, 3, or 4 comes up on the next roll, you win. Otherwise, you lose. Okay? There's another bet called center field. It has 4, 9, and 10. Again, if one of those numbers comes up on the next roll, you win. Otherwise, you lose. And finally, right field is 10, 11, 12. The same deal.
Right.
Now, the payouts on left field and right field are 5-4-1, not 5-2-1, 5-4-1. So if you
your $1 bet's going to win you $4.
Yes,
not 5.
That's right. Your $1 bet, they'll give you $4, and you'll still have your $1 bet.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. And then the center field bet pays 3-4-1.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
you're only going to get $2 back.
Exactly. Yeah. So now talking about what Steve was saying, let's say you bet on left field and center field, and both of them have the number 4 in them, right? The left field is 2, 3, 4. Center field is 4, 9, 10.
Right.
Okay.
So if 4 comes up, you're going to win both.
You're going to win both. Let's say you have $1 on each one.
Right.
Okay. In left field, you're going to get a profit of $4.
Right.
And in center field, you're going to get a profit of $2.
Right.
So your profit is $6 for $2 bet.
Right.
That's only 3-1.
Yeah, it's 3-1.
Or 4-4-1 if you want to, talk about that.
Right.
So it's not quite as good as you would think.
Right.
Now, and you're looking at kind of the layout here. I think it's pretty clear how it works.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
It's funny though on this layout, the picture of it, the field is super small.
Yeah, they've made the field real small. You can still bet the field, but it's just this thin line that's almost thinner than the pass line. Yeah.
You're right. And think about that. So what if somebody puts a chip out there, there's kind of sloppy and it kind of overlaps? How does that?
Oh, I don't know. You could say that about a lot of things on the craps table.
I know, but I mean, it seriously could create some controversy.
No, it could.
Like you put it kind of in left field and kind of in the field, and 10 comes up, and you're like, no, that was a field bet, not a left field bet, just a regular field bet. So.
Well, these bets are pretty terrible, as you might imagine. Side bets are. Each of the bets, all 3 of them, there's a 16 2/3% house edge, which makes them some of the worst bets on the table.
Yeah, not even I'm betting that.
I just don't see it catching on. It just doesn't seem like a fun bet because it's a one-roll bet, and you're usually going to lose it.
Right.
And,
well, left field, 2, 3, 4, right? It's not going to come up.
No,
There's so many other.
Yeah, I think people who like betting the field are just going to continue to bet the field.
Right.
Well, why not bet the field? I get all these. And
I get all these.
If 2 comes up, I get double, and if 12 comes up, I get triple. So.
Right. And, and you put $5 in the field, you win $5 if a 9 comes up. What's the difference? I mean, how many times are you going to lose it putting it in center field?
Yeah. So I don't see it catching on, but it's new, and we'll see if it spreads at all. Well, it's interesting that it's at Caesar's Palace. That's definitely something we're going to have to check out. I'm going to ask them how much action you get on that, and I bet they say not much. But
yeah, because Caesar's Palace, that's some pretty experienced gamblers. I can't imagine that'd get too much. Now, I could see this, coming at maybe one of the smaller casinos on the strip.
Yeah, like a local casino or something.
Yeah, local casino. I just can't see it at Caesar's Palace. us. It's like, this is something that Steve Wynn would come up with.
Oh, yeah. That I don't know if it's that bad, Mike.
Yeah, it actually loses money. Yeah, $1 wins 50 cents.
That's right. Good luck. All right, let's hear from Tim from the new Better Life podcast.
If you have a message of 20 seconds of just air, that's me calling and not hearing the beep and thinking that I did it wrong.
Oh, yeah, that he did. There was a previous call where it's like, well, is anybody there? Is nobody there? All right.
Tim Lawson from the Better Life podcast. Fellas, I'm calling with a trip report from Iowa, of all places. I was like, hey, I need to get out. Let's go on a gambling trip to Iowa. Now, I'm visiting my parents. They were off doing something. I had a couple hours to kill on a Sunday morning, and so I went up to a place called, I think it's called Grand Falls Casino, and it's about 20, 30 minutes east of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I went in there just thinking I was going to find the cheapest game that I prefer and just sort of kill time for an hour or two, because what else do you do when you have time to kill? I took a page out of Dr. Mike's book, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go find a craps game. Got there, the craps table, they had 2 craps tables. That was it. 2 craps tables, neither of them were open. It was 9:30 in the morning, and I asked someone, they said, well, the craps tables aren't opening until 11. Well, that wasn't going to work because I had to be out of there at a certain time. It just wasn't worth waiting around to maybe get 20 minutes of craps in. So I went and I sat down at the blackjack table and paid 3-2, good, hits on soft 17, And I sit down, and there's 2 guys playing, and they seem to be kind of like into it, and so I wanted to wait until the shoe was over, and so I wait. I'm sitting there and I wait. The shoe's over. I buy in, and the dealer shuffles and burns the first card face down, and I point out, I was like, "What was that?" I've done this hundreds of times at blackjack tables, and usually a dealer will put it face up when they use. I'm used to that. I'm used to calling them out like, "Hey, what's that?" And they'll show us. This guy was like, "I can't show you." I was like, what do you mean you can't show me? He's like, yeah, I can't show you. It's against the rules. And I was sort of taken back. Guys, I need you to help me out. Am I crazy in thinking that dealers have shown me the burn card before? Because him and someone else that was there, another casino employee, were pretty convinced that was like standard practice across the industry. I don't think that that's right. Help me out. Will dealers normally show you the burn card or not? Great show. Keep it up. Thanks for listening. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, now, Tim, we're not going to go so far as to say that you're crazy.
Yeah.
Because
we're not psychiatrists.
That's right. But I have never, ever seen a dealer willingly or knowingly show you the burn card. It is always face down.
Neither have I.
Now, maybe it happens at some places.
I seem to recall asking once and they wouldn't show it.
Yeah.
Because they just don't show it.
No, they don't. It is standard practice. They do not show the burn card. Yeah. That's sort of the point of the burn card in a lot of ways, right?
Right.
Yeah,
for card counters, so there's one card missing.
Yeah.
It's stupid in a shoe.
Oh, in a big shoe, yeah.
Oh, we can't show you that burn card. It might make all the difference in the world.
It was an ace? All right, we're reshuffling.
Now, are you crazy because you've never seen that, or are you crazy because it's a stupid rule?
Now, that's understandable if you're just thinking that's a stupid rule.
If you're thinking that's a stupid rule, you're not crazy at all. It's a stupid rule. I have never seen it.
No, I've never seen them show the burn card. So I don't know where you've been playing, Tim. Let us know.
Well, he's playing face-up blackjack.
That's right. Yeah, that's what
now, face-up blackjack, why not show you the burn card? Right?
That's right.
They're all face-up.
It's double exposure blackjack. Oh, yeah. We actually put all the cards upside down in the shoe.
Right.
So you can see the next one coming off the top.
Yeah. It's easy.
All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is T from Atlanta. Hope you guys are doing well. I am heading out to Vegas this weekend. Guys trip that we do a couple times a year. We're staying at Cromwell. We definitely like to play craps. I'm really looking forward to it. A couple episodes back, there was a discussion about what to do with your chips if you're at a craps table and you leave to go to the restroom. And it reminded me of a conversation that my friends and I have regularly, and one of which my wife thinks I'm a total idiot for even having, but that's another story. So we talk about the woman back in Atlantic City, I don't know, it was like maybe 4 or 5, even 7 years ago, who had the 4-hour plus run at a craps table. And, we always, like to dream that we are one day fortunate enough to be a part of something like that. But what we always talk about is, what would you do if you were on one of those absolutely monster runs? You're a good 2.5 hours into it, and you're enjoying the free beverages, and you just can't hold it in any longer. Would you leave the table or what? And, even taking that a step further, what would you do if you had the dice? Pretty much as a group, we all agree we would, perhaps accidentally spill a drink on ourselves to make it look like just a pure drink spill accident and nothing else. I don't know, but I contend that I would not leave the table, and I hope to find myself in that position someday, and maybe even this weekend. I'll call you guys back if I do. Anyway, always enjoy the show. Take care.
So they'd spill a drink so they could pee their pants?
Yeah, I think that's what he was getting at. So it wouldn't look like he peed his pants, like he just spilled a drink. Now, you answer first because I know exactly what you would say.
You do?
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay, well, if I were rolling, seriously, I would wait till a come-out roll and ask if I could go to the bathroom real quick and come back.
Exactly, because we've seen people do that. And we've had actually recently somebody do that. Oh, I got to go so bad. Okay, go. And they asked everyone on the table, is it okay?
Yeah.
Does anyone have a problem with that? We all said, no, go. He ran and went to the bathroom, came back, and continued.
Now, not every casino would accommodate that.
Yeah.
Some casinos, absolutely not. This game needs to keep moving.
Right.
And they're all paranoid because it's, but, if they are paranoid, it's like, oh, well, maybe this will be the cooler that, that he has to go. So it would really depend on the casino.
Right.
If they wouldn't allow it, to say, nope, he's got to keep rolling, then I would try to convince everybody at the table just pull all their bets down.
Yeah.
Right? Say, okay, well, if you're not going to do it, let's pull all our bets down. And maybe the casino would change its mind.
This is a harder question for you to answer because you go to the bathroom way more than I
drink
do.
a lot more at the table, but even so, even if I'm not drinking, I do go more often. Thank you for bringing that to everyone's attention.
For whatever reason, I never have to go.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously,
I know.
I'll go. I'll go 7 hours and then I better go before we get on the drive home. I never have to go. But if I was rolling, or if it was in the middle of a really hot roll. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're not rolling, you could run real quick. And,
sure. Yeah, just, my bets are off while I'm gone or whatever. Pick up your odds. Sure.
You could tell them to, set my bets off the side. Don't parlay anything. But if I was rolling and I had to keep rolling, they wouldn't let me stop. I'll tell you right now, it is not even a question. Pee your pants.
Yes.
Brag about that for the rest of your life to everybody you know. I would bring that up to people who don't even know what craps is. Yeah, I had to pee my pants because I could not leave that roll. Right. I mean, who's going to fault you?
That's right.
And it's just water, really. And then you go up to the room and put new pants on.
You got a great story the rest of your life. Somebody comes up to the table. Oh, hi, how are you? Where are you from? You immediately say, I peed my pants once at a craps table.
Right. And you know how people always say, oh, yeah, they make a joke like, oh, I'll just fill this bottle up. I got to go so bad. No, just pee your pants. You're not taking time to get your beer bottle, dump your beer out, and then pee in it. First of all, that's hard to do.
That's right. Yeah, subtly. Yeah.
Second of all, just pee your pants. No one's going to get you in trouble.
Good.
Right? It's not illegal.
Yeah. Well, I guess not. I don't know.
No, if you pulled it out and peed, maybe that's illegal. But if it's still in there and you're
I'm old.
I know, you peed my pants. Right. Or you could be like that lady that just wears the diaper to the casino.
That's a good idea too.
Just in case.
All right. So I guess we have another T-shirt. Just pee your pants.
Just pee your pants. I'll tell you what. When I get old, and that's approaching very, very fast. Yeah. I'm just going to start wearing a diaper all the time. People ask us, well, I don't really need it, but what if I'm in the middle of a hot roll and I got to pee?
That's good. That's, maybe that's the whole new thing.
Be prepared.
It's like, to answer your question, T, we just wear diapers because eventually it's going to happen.
Right. Eventually I'm going to be on that heater that's just never going to end. God, can you imagine 4 hours?
Oh, no. I mean, it's crazy.
It's even an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Your kids and Cub Scouts, look, you got to be prepared for things. Wear a diaper at all times.
That's right. All right. Let's hear a Macau trip report from Ian.
Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Ian from Florida, although I'm calling you from Macau, China right now. I thought I'd call in and leave some notes about Macau for people that might be interested in going to Macau. Staying at the Wynn Palace. It is super duper nice. It was about $200 a night. Ate at the steakhouse last night. It was about $125. So if you come to Macau, bring your money. The casinos are all in walking distance of each other on each island. So there's a couple of different islands. And so I'm at the Wynn Palace now. I walk to the MGM and do a couple of others. They have the Parisian, which is kind of like a knockoff of the Paris Hotel. And then the Venetian, which is the Venetian. and a couple of others. The minimums here are ridiculous. Mark, you and I can't gamble here. Dr. Mike, you can gamble here. The minimums are like 1,000 Hong Kong dollars. They use two different currencies, the Macau Tunica or the Hong Kong dollar, but everybody uses Hong Kong dollars. 1,000 of those is like $125 minimum for blackjack. Now, I have seen some tables for like 500 or 300. I haven't seen any 100s yet, which is what I'm looking for right now. But you can imagine at 300 or about $40 as your minimum bet, you can go through some money pretty quickly. So I'm still looking around. So I looked around for craps for you guys. I don't really play craps, but I know you do. There are not a lot of craps tables here, but there are some. So they have some of the Parisian at Studio City, and the guy I was talking to last night at the restaurant said they just added it at the MGM. The lowest minimum I could find was 200 Hong Kong dollars, which is about $25 as the minimum. And those were actually full, but they were full of more like Western people, as you might imagine. They have a lot of baccarat. Like, I used to think that baccarat was the blackjack of Asia, but that's an understatement. Baccarat is everywhere. Nobody plays anything else, really. They have Sickbo, but they have Sickbo on layouts that looks like roulette. So you place your bet on what looks like a roulette table, and I don't know exactly how you win or how you play Sickbo, but there you go. The roulette, what looks like roulette wheels is really a Sickbo table. They also have roulette, but again, those minimums are crazy. Not a lot of slot players. They have full baccarat where you actually touch the cards. I'm used to mini baccarat, and most people are as well. And I'm really surprised at how these people like mutilate these cards when they pick them up and throw them at the dealer. So that's just about it. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope to see you soon. I'm out from Macau, China.
Good. Thanks, Ian. Ian actually followed up with an email, too, with a couple of more things. One of the things he said was, the gamblers here are very serious, and they don't really drink at all at the table.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, yeah, the guys on the 88 Days to Macau podcast mentioned when they were there that, it was just so much different from Vegas. It was a lot harder to get alcohol. There were only a few bars in the casinos, and people really weren't drinking at the tables.
Well, gambling is a part of their culture.
Sure.
It's a serious thing.
Yeah, it's a different culture.
It's a different culture. They look at gambling in a different light than we would here in the States.
Yeah. And he also said that stadium gambling is really big there.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that.
Bigger than Vegas. He says the minimums are 100 Hong Kong dollars, which would work out to about $13 American, which is pretty high for stadium gambling. Usually stadium gambling, at least here in the States, is lower than you would find it typically at a table. I know out here at Barona, it's $3, right?
Right. So, yeah, well, because the casino's spending less in
overhead, personnel and stuff.
Right, personnel and stuff, so they can lower those limits and still make a a good profit margin.
Right. Yeah.
So we someday should go there. I have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to, but I don't know how much I'd enjoy it.
Well, the thing is, I'm sure we would enjoy it, but everything that goes with it, the long plane ride and, everything else that's kind of involved, I'm sure we would enjoy
Craps
ourselves
is not a big deal there.
That's the other thing, too. We definitely...
how long would you like to sit at a Sickbo table or, and gamble $125?
Yeah, per hand. Yeah. All right. Next up is August.
Hi guys, it's August from Bath. I haven't called in a while, and I just had a little report for you guys. So I started giving Tioga more play because I was getting better free play. So I stopped going to Seneca for a while, and I used to get $25 free play, maybe $50 match play, and like $60 free slot play. And my offers came in for March and April, and it went from $100 free play on average to $800. So I'm going to start playing there again. Crazy increase. So yeah, competition breeds good for the consumer. So for people out there that have multiple casinos to go to, that's something to think about. And I just had one other experience at Tioga that made me switch. I had a pickup for a gift card, and I went and got it. And then they called me on Tuesday and said, hey, you still need to pick up this gift card. So I thought it was something else. So I came in and got it. And then I left the casino. I went to a restaurant next, sort of attached, and my host came in and said, oh, it looks like you already picked this up. And I was like, okay. They called me and said I had another one, and she was like, see, right here. And she pulls out this yellow legal pad and shows my name with a line through it, showing that I had already picked it up. And so she was like, yeah, I'm going to need that back. And I had already taken the gift card out of the package. And I wonder what they would have done if I had left. Would they have called me? It was just kind of weird getting an offer and then having it revoked. I'm not sure how many people have experienced that.
And you know what he should have said? This is a printing error.
Exactly.
It's obviously a printing error because who would draw a line through my name?
I love that.
That's
it's just
ridiculous.
A legal pad. See, there's your name, and there's a line through it.
Yeah, it's never good if someone draws a line through your name.
He actually got called.
Yeah,
he made. I got to give him credit for not making a big stink about it because, shoot, I mean, hey, you called me and said I needed to pick this up.
Right.
I was being responsible and reacting to your call.
And maybe it was a $5,000 gift card.
Or maybe it was something like that. That's the printer error.
So that was a little funny. And then, so I was playing poker last night and I just wanted to share the last hand right before I went up and went to bed. It was a 4-way all in and I had Jack 9 and the flap comes up Jack 9. So I've got top 2 pair. Great. I get to showdown and another guy has Jack 9. So we ended up chopping the pot. But that was a pretty wild hand to finish the night. Yeah, it feels like my luck's turning around. I'm starting to do some horse racing. Yeah, there's a lot of free play offers. So for anyone that wants to join TVG or NYRA or any of those, you usually get a deposit bonus. You deposit $200 and then, you get $200. So you could do $200 pick 4 and just see what happens. Santa Anita has $500,000 pools, usually late pick 4. So worth a try. All right. See you guys.
We have a TVG account.
Right.
And we would play the horses quite a bit for a while. They had this great deal going on where almost every week they would have 1 or 2 races where you would get your money back if you bet to win on a horse and it came in second or third. And so that was great. We would, make bets along here.
That actually worked out great for us.
It worked out tremendous for us. We actually won money, and we really weren't studying the horses that much.
It just...
Well, eventually... And we weren't the only ones that were victims of this. We got a message saying, okay, you're no longer eligible for our promotions because it looks like all you're really doing is betting on the promotions.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And
so you're taking advantage of the offer we're offering you, and that's not right.
Right. So it's like, what? Well, apparently there was quite a bit of backlash. In fact, our friend Todd Goddess, he canceled his account. He just cashed out.
No, I don't blame him.
And then like the next day or 2 days later, I think we jumped the gun and everybody got these messages again.
Right.
But it's funny. We haven't played since then.
No.
Just, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
So
that's ridiculous though. Here, we're going to make this offer to you. And if you take advantage of it, we're going to cancel it.
That's kind of it.
And that's what we're going to do.
Look, we were running the system. There's no question. We pretty much only bet on those races.
Right.
Because it's like,
hey, we bet a few other times
we did,
on bigger races.
But we were not studying the horses. So why would we bet on, races we really didn't have any idea about unless there was that
races
guarantee.
That we picked a good horse. We knew it was a good horse. And if it got second or third, we got our money back. We were happy. And if it won, we won a little.
Yeah.
There was very little risk on our part. But it wasn't like we did anything wrong. I mean, they offered this to us, right?
And there was never any kind of, unless I missed some fine print, hey, if this is all you do, you're out.
You're out. Maybe it was a printing error.
Maybe it was. Maybe they printed
a lot of printing errors in this world.
They printed it was white font on white background, and so I never saw it.
It was a color error.
That was right. That's right. Now, about this poker hand, I'll tell you, if you're all in with Jack 9 and there are 3 other players, even if you have top 2 pair, you're nervous, right? Because Jack 9, that's fairly coordinated, right? Somebody might be staying in for a straight or, already have trips or something like that. Right. So I would not feel comfortable. So I'm glad, August, that you actually were able to get some of that pot. But I have to say, what are you doing playing Jack 9? I'm sorry. Jack 9, maybe to a new player, Jack 9,
that makes a straight, Mark.
Oh, God, I don't know. Maybe he was in a blind. Maybe they were suited and he was late position, but there were 2 players playing Jack 9 at that table. All right. So I have a question about, Jack 9. You got to.
He did say it was the last hand of the night.
Oh, that's true. Maybe they were just saying, well, I got to stay in no matter what I'm dealt.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay in. It's the last hand. I'm going to bed.
All right, August. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. All right. One final call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Thanks again for the work you guys do on the pod. Just quick questions. We're getting up on March Madness. I know you can bet futures for teams to win the whole tournament, but I haven't seen either online or in my trips to Vegas for betting teams just to make the Final Four. I think that would be an interesting bet, and not have to worry about teams winning it all, and you get those underdog teams that make it to the Final Four. I think it'd be kind of neat. I don't know if you guys have seen that or heard that or thoughts on it, on that as a possibility. So Thanks again. Have a good day.
During the regular season, typically you can bet that a team will win the championship.
Right.
During the regular season.
Win it all.
Right.
Yeah, they'll have future bets.
You can bet that a team will make the Final Four, but you usually can't make that bet until the brackets have been determined.
Right.
So that's Sunday where they fill it all out, where they come up with the 68 teams.
Yeah.
At that point... Well, I know you can. I was looking today.
Yeah.
You can bet that a team will make the Final Four.
Well, that makes sense if you think about it. Because prior to the brackets being set, what would an odds maker set the chance of somebody making a Final Four? Because they don't know who they're going to have to get through to get to the Final Four.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's
so
another
once
thing
the brackets are set, an odds maker can say, well, this team has an easy road. Because some of the brackets are definitely easier than others.
Sure.
Just the way it's set up.
Yeah.
And so some guy will say, well, this is going to be a lot easier for this team to get to the Final Four, so we're going to set the odds at this. Prior to that, it'd be very hard for an odds maker to determine.
Well, I guess that could be true, but at the same time, it would be hard for them to determine if a team's going to go all the way or not, too. I mean,
that's more of a longer crapshoot. So let's say a good team.
Sure.
Let's say like this year, Arizona is not ranked super high, but they played very, very good the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they're kind of a dark horse to advance to the Final Four. Now, what bracket they got into and everything, an odds maker could say, they're actually playing pretty good. So it would be easier to set an odd now than it would have been 3 weeks ago.
Well, I definitely agree with you there.
When they were playing terrible, and they might not even have made the tournament.
Yeah.
So they're a perfect example of why they would wait.
I'm thinking that some of it is too, they just wouldn't get a lot of action on a bet like that.
That's
people
probably,
like to make the big bet. Oh, they're going to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
that's probably some of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, March Madness. We didn't talk about it on the last episode. And when this episode, when this episode posts, it'll be the first round in the round of 64.
Right.
So I mean, we always talk about how this is the greatest time for sports. We love it.
We love this time because baseball's winding down the preseason. So baseball season starting March 29th, I think, is the Padres opening day.
Okay.
28th or 9th. And then we got March Madness. So there's basketball to watch. This first week is insane.
Well,
you got Thursday,
fantastic.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I love coming home here on the West Coast. We come home from work. The games are going till 10 o'clock. Oh my gosh, you're on the East Coast. You can watch basketball till like 1 a.m.
Right. A lot of times I don't get home till 8.
Yeah.
In a normal night, there's a lot of sports is done. Even baseball sometimes, except for maybe the Padres. All the games are done. But I can get home at 8 and still watch 2 basketball games.
Well, and San Diego State is on a tear. They won the Mountain West Championship, which was the only way they were going to get into the tournament.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, if you had said to me they were going to be in the tournament, I would have said you were out of your mind.
They've won 9 in a row, and so we're very excited about that.
They beat Nevada, who was ranked 22nd or 23rd, depending on which poll you look at, twice. And not only beat them, I mean, they spanked them. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, just fantastic.
They hammered them.
Well, let me say this. A few listeners have made bets for us on the Aztecs, San Diego State Aztecs, to win the whole thing.
Okay, I'm not saying that's a good thing.
Hey, but
I appreciate it.
We do want to thank everybody who's done that for us. If it does happen, oh my gosh, it's going to be a miracle.
It'll be a miracle.
It'll be great. But thank you for that.
I'll tell you what, seriously now, I am not joking. If it did happen, if the Aztecs made the Final Four, I would not be all that surprised. 3 weeks ago, I wouldn't have said this. They are playing so good right now.
They are right now, yeah.
And they're coming together as a team. Trey Kell is playing well. I mean, they seriously could do some damage. Now, that said, they probably lose to Houston in the first round. But if they beat Houston, they have a chance against Michigan, maybe to beat Michigan. I don't know. If you're filling out a bracket right now, think about that.
All right. Well, unfortunately, when this posts, the tournament will have already started and the brackets will already have to be in. And San Diego State may have already lost at this point when people are listening.
Yeah, when people listen.
Yeah, so.
Well, I think the game's at 4:20 our time tomorrow.
Yeah,
so you'll post it a little before that.
Yeah, I'll do before that, yeah.
And so I'm planning on winning the $1 billion.
Good. Okay, where you get the perfect bracket. Yeah, good luck to you, sir. Yeah, good luck.
Well, I mean, someone's got to do it eventually, right?
No, that's not true. No,
seriously?
You go thousands of years and it won't happen. Trust me.
Oh, you mean so Buffett is not just throwing his money away?
No, he's not. He's
that crazy
crazy Buffett, crazy Warren Buffett.
It's Jimmy Buffett. Oh my God. It's Warren Buffett?
I thought
it was Jimmy Buffett.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're thinking, I'm going to take advantage of this guy. He's just too cash.
Dr. Mike could wager $1 billion because nobody's ever going to do that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'll put up everything I have.
After San Diego State wins the tournament. Who had that right?
Some things coming up we want to remind everybody about. Gamblepalooza. Speaking speaking of 420, it's going to be on April 20th that weekend there. And
nice.
I know I've been corresponding with Vito, and he's got some great ideas for that event coming up. So that's the first thing. Then don't forget Zorkfest, May 25th through the 27th. Use promo code ZORKBET, ZORKBET, for $10 off. And then immediately following that is 360 Vegas Vacation 6. And just announced since our last episode, there is going to be a charity craps tournament on that Friday night, May 25th at 10 p.m. It's going to be right after the Zorkfest VIP dinner. It is a charity craps tournament to benefit Pangea Educational Development, which is a charity that Adam, a.k.a. Vegas Fanboy, a.k.a. Travel Fanboy, is very involved in.
And what does the charity do?
It's a nonprofit organization committed to empowering schools and unifying communities through the development of sustainable educational change in Uganda.
Oh, nice.
So a good cause. Good. That's also on the Travel Zork website under Zorkfest. You can sign up right now. It's going to be a private craps tournament. They're going to have professional dealers from Treasure Island. It's going to be a single craps table with the pit boss dealers, everything.
Nice.
And also, it'll be either before or after the tournament. I think it's going to be before the tournament. We are going to provide craps lessons. I think we'll do it kind of like we did a couple years ago at Golden Gate for VIMP, where I maybe will just kind of be in the middle and explain, and you can kind of be on the outer edge talking to people. And come up, and if you're a complete beginner, we'll start from the basics. If everybody there has maybe played a little bit, we can talk about some of the minutia of craps. But there's going to be that as well. So we're very much looking forward to that.
We definitely need to do that before the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Because when the tournament starts, they'll be like, what the hell is he doing? I'm putting all my money on 12.
That's right. Yeah. No, we'll do it beforehand. And then when the tournament starts, it's like, well, Mark, what are those bets that you're making? You didn't tell us about those. Oh, don't worry about those.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You don't need to know that.
Send them. That's right. All right. That's going to do it for this episode. Hey, we want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Bill, he's a new listener. We actually got a nice email from him, and he had some questions about hosts that we will talk about on a future episode. Yes, definitely. Also from Chaz, he says, Dear Mark and Dr. Mike, I absolutely love your show. Please keep it up. Love and kindness from your pal in Canada. Thanks very much. Also from Todd and Amanda Goddess, they say, we haven't been gambling much lately, so we haven't called in, but that changes this weekend. Hashtag Vegas, baby.
Nice.
Hopefully they did well. I think it was probably the last weekend. And finally, a PayPal donation from Abram. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it, everybody. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS, or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. And before I hand it over to you, Mike, too, one more thing about this tournament. We need at least 20 participants in order for it to go through. If we can't get at least 20, we're not going to be able to do it.
All right.
So if you plan on doing it, sign up as soon as you can. Mike, I've already signed the two of us up, so we're in. Yeah. All right. What do you got for us?
Well, I just got to say, I mean, this is a wonderful time of the year for us. I'm going to Vegas in April at the beginning, Connecticut at the end.
Yep.
Back to Vegas in May. We got sports up to yin yang. The Padres are predicted to win 142 games.
Wow, that's
this year.
Really, that's good. I think that's better than our April Fool's episode where we said, how many do we say there? 120, I think. So yeah, that's pretty good.
ESPN picked them to win 66 games.
All right.
And I'll tell you what, bet the over.
Okay.
I know I've said this before, but they are going to be closer to 500 than people think.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear you say that.
They're a decent team, and I mean that in all sincerity.
All right. Now, your track record is just so-so on these predictions.
So. Well, because I'm betting with my heart when it comes to that.
All right.
But, when it's not my heart, I can tell you winners. You know that.
Okay.
You know I can.
Well, I guess that's true. Oh, in fact, you picked the Indy 500 winner last year.
Yep.
And we need to bet that again coming up Memorial Day weekend.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll bet that again.
Good.
I got some insight into that.
Okay, good.
But anyway, seriously, we've got so much coming up, all the stuff and everything. And so, life is good. We got sports, we got gambling.
That's great.
Our families are fine. Everyone's healthy.
Doing good. Yep.
I hope everyone else is staying healthy.
Yep.
So forget about all the crap in the world and focus on the important stuff.
Yeah, forget about all the crap and think about the craps. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.